What's up, everybody? Welcome into a new episode of the J-Rock Show. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I'm your sole host, Jason J.K. Candell, on this episode. I know it's a chaotic weekend. We had a great slate of SWFL football yesterday. We have some more upcoming and rivalry week of SimWorld Hoops football, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what's going down on the hardwood, and I, for one, am very floored by what went down this week. Let's start on the recruiting cycle, where Kai Killens, Gulf Coast Lockdown's own, he pulled his verbal commitment from the Louisiana State Tigers. They're in the midst of quite the struggle season. Got an offer from Alabama. Kai Killens, would not be shocked to see him stay in the SEC, but this was a foregone conclusion. When you verbally commit, when you're 16, and when you're one of the top players in SimWorld Prep like Kai Killens is, it's a matter of time where another offer is always going to kind of fancy you a little bit more than a meddling LSU team who has no championship aspirations in a loaded SEC. I think Kai Killens making the right move here. I would like to see Kai Killens at like Tennessee. I would love to see him play with a Turner or Henrik Vekic because Tennessee really could use it right now. They beat Florida State, but Florida State isn't particularly the poster child for being one of the more prolific schools in SimWorld right now. I apologize to you, Garrett Hart, if you're listening to this, but Kai Killens back on the market. Going to be interesting to see where that plays out. I've been in contact with him about an appearance on the J-Rock Show, so be on the lookout for that because I would love to pick his brain about this. And Kai Killens, this is my public request for you to appear on my show in the coming weeks. But continuing on the recruiting front, Carson Cutbirth announced his official commitment to the University of Oklahoma, being joined by the verbal commitment of Breck Backer. Future's getting real bright in Norman alongside Suno Chapa. Suno Chapa, one of the more, I'd say, dynamic young talents in the SimWorld U realm. And now you're giving him an elite playmaker in Carson Cutbirth. You're giving him a Breck Backer. And there's always a chance that Jace Miguez or Floyd Henderson stay another year. This Oklahoma team, they're decent right now. They're going to do a lot of damage in a season from now. And I'm really excited to see that play out. But let's talk about my man with the Rocky Mountain Monsters. Devontae Schindler reopened his recruitment after committing to Boise State. Got offers from Kansas, UNLV, and Arkansas, I believe. And Devontae Schindler was really good for the Rocky Mountain Monsters during last season's run to one championship run alongside Justin Bell and Luke Spanks, who are now at Villanova and Marquette. But he's a good paint presence. And if you can bring in that paint presence alongside your star players, like I really like what Kansas is doing. I like Charles Pinkert. I like Nas Hall. I like Madison Miles. But that big body is what they're missing, and I really like Devontae Schindler. I think Kansas would be a great fit. I know Bill Self would love a guy like that, and I'm a big Devontae Schindler fan, so another thing that is some food for thought. And talk about what actually went down on the SimWorld circuit this week. I did an article about Jason Crosser and his backstory, talking to his sister, his parents, talking to Coach Steve Lutz at Oklahoma State, talking to Oliver Beach. That was one of the most fun stories I've ever had the opportunity to write because Jason Crosser has such a level head on his shoulders for a kid that's 7'2". He's a really bright young freshman, and he's really humble, and he works a lot harder than most people that are 7'2" in this world. So I really, if you have not already, I hope you check that out because there's so many great stories across SimWorld U, and I can't wait to be the one to tell more of those. But Gonzaga lost their second game in a row to Arizona on Wednesday night. Big loss for the Bulldogs, who were sitting comfortably in the top 5 of the SP rankings. Surely might fall down a little bit, but they're still a good team. I wouldn't worry. Losing to Arizona is not really anything to kind of scream DEFCON 1 about when Giovanni Conwell didn't do much and Caden Ship and Damian Luffy are still one of the better duos in all of SimWorld U. I'm not really worried about Gonzaga. On Wednesday night, UNLV got taken down by Texas Tech. This Texas Tech team looking to stay hot tonight against Oregon. But I really like this front court duo of Malik McNeil and Tyrell Thompson. Thompson, H-Town Hoopers. I really like this Houston team. Texas Tech team, I should say, because Texas Tech they play physical, and with Keontae Smythe often in foul trouble for UNLV, that was a game that was not going to go well for them. A lot of size down low for Texas Tech. They love to play in the post, and Malik McNeil, there's a reason why he's getting SWBA consideration. There's a reason why Tyrell Thompson, I'm sure, will in a year. I really like what that team is capable of, and if they're bigger than you, they're stronger than you, they're more physical. This Texas Tech team, they're not there yet, but once they do, I feel like they could really turn a corner and really be a nice trap team in that Big 12, because you have Oklahoma, you have Texas, you have teams that are at the top, but Texas Tech, as long as they have that physicality, they'll give you a fight every night. Their guards are a little concerning, but Braden Grosso really impressed me at the forward position. And UNLV, outside of Nat Hawkins and Jarrell Beauchamp, they're not that impressive. They're not that deep. They're kind of riding the heels of their stars, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to win at this level, you got to be a well-oiled machine. Look at Miami, who is looking like an absolute disaster right now. Unmitigated disaster, I should say, because I don't really understand how you go from winning it all one year to probably not even going to make the postseason the next. It makes zero sense to me. And Arkansas has been one of the most fun teams to watch in SimWorld U. They beat VCU 98-66. DJ Wagner always showing up. Rutgers beat Oklahoma on Wednesday. And Florida-Michigan State is tonight. So stay tuned for that one, because I will always be tuned in to see what my man Tom Izzo can do. And I also want to give a quick shout to Alabama, because in that recruiting news, they did land Leonardo Fields. They have Levin Cutler right now. Natos is just gonna keep doing his thing. Levin Cutler hit a game winner on Wednesday night against Cal, and they just keep winning. They're winning on the recruiting cycle, and there's a reason why Natos is probably a top 5 coach in all of SimWorld U. But I don't think you guys are ready for that conversation. This has been quite the week in the SimWorld U landscape. SimWorld Prep has some things coming back tomorrow, but that's, again, not what we're here for. Creighton has been really fun. I really like the duo of Ethan Letterman and Mark Chisholm. Not Jazz Chisholm. We are not talking about the SWLB. In the game of the week, 79-64. The Blue Jays are starting to hit their stride, and I'm really liking this young tandem. Don't be surprised to see them go further. They reached the Elite Eight last year. I don't know if they'll go that far, but they're never a team to be taken lightly. We're further into the season, so teams are starting to kind of catch their stride. We're seeing it with Duke. We're seeing it with Texas, who are red hot. And there's not enough teams outside of those two that I really feel comfortable trusting outside of Duke, Texas, and Georgia Tech. But that's going to do it for this episode of the J-Rock Show. I'm your host, JK, and I'll see you next time. Remember, SimWorld, the only place you can see the game and be on the lookout for more of our great content coming soon.